This is a dirty game, bro. And what I've always said is all is fair in love, war, and challenges, 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 and challenges.
But the thing is, it said CBS and Paramount. Whether it's going to be on the app as well, or if it's just on CBS, I don't know.
Probably at some point, but, you know, we're going to need to see this shit live.
Well, the thing is, well, you know what? I have a friend who lets me borrow her Xfinity. So I don't have to get regular cable. Hey, but this means I can cancel my Philo account because the only reason I had Philo was because it had MTV on it.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into the episode. What's really good, Posters? Welcome to another episode of Love, War, Challenges. I am MTV Malik. She is Becky at Gift Master Bex. Let's get it in.
Crazy cat lady.
So first off, this episode, I love this episode. This was a great episode through and through, and I was actually left surprised and wanting more. Just overall, a lot of the stuff that I thought was going to be apparent and the stuff that I thought was going to take place, I was wrong. And I love it when I'm wrong. That means I didn't see a lot of this shit coming. Feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, what didn't you see coming?
Oh, I get into that at the end. I thought, because, you know, every time that I see something that I think I know, I always like to call and like, oh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And then the bad thing is I'm usually right. If I'm watching the episode, I can tell a lot of shit that's going to happen just by watching the episode, just because a lot of times it's so formatic, or a lot of times you know the challenger and you can probably guess what's going to be their best option.
Sure.
And I was wrong. So go ahead and start the episode off. A victorious Mark and Janae return. We got Mark and Derek relishing in their victory. And, you know, Mark is saying that he'll play until he's 60. And that's funny because he said that, and I was in one of the Facebook groups earlier this week, and somebody was saying, should there be an age limit on challenge competitors? I mean, Mark is by far the oldest. Veronica's up there. CT is getting there, but even Bananas and West, you know, these guys are pushing 40 now. So should there be an age limit, and what should the age limit be?
I mean, you look at Survivor. I don't think they have an age limit. You've seen some older people on Survivor, Amazing Race. Every one of these others reality competition shows have had older people. The thing is it's about whether you are physically fit enough to compete. And that's it. So maybe they just have to go through a tougher physical. If you look at Mark, he's not a normal, what is he, 55 something?
Yeah, something like that.
Is it like retirement age? But
he's like 50.
He's like 50 years old. So when I think of a 50-year-old, I think of like my dad. And yeah, he's not physically fit to go into a challenge. But, you know, if that's something that their goal is, there are plenty of bodybuilders, athletes within that age group. Why not? Let it give a shot.
I think on some of those things, you're right and wrong. Should there be an age limit? Absolutely not. Johnny Bananas could be 85 years old and he'll still be making finals. Just being in good enough shape is not going to be enough at all. We need you to also be entertaining, or at least be so good that we can stand you if you're being boring. Casey is one of the strongest females to come out. She is a great competitor. She will be the next 2 to 3 champion winner that we're going to have. It's hard to bet against her, and I don't want to watch a second of her at all.
Boring as fuck, man.
Boring as shit. And, you know, some of the other Big Brother players kind of suffered from that too. And some of these new people who's influencers. You can't just be good physically. And being good physically isn't enough. You can be great physically. It doesn't matter if you're thrown into elimination 4 times in a season.
Well, we were just talking about ageism, or basically being of a certain age.
Nah, fuck that. Like I said, Bananas could be 80 and he'll still be annoying people.
He's entertaining, but he's also very physically fit. he works on himself to make sure he's physically able to compete in these challenges. But he is Johnny Bananas. So he is an entertaining, crazy bastard.
Think about this. Anissa, who is a elimination beast, and she finds herself in some shit every season. Every season, she finds herself a storyline, good or bad. She finds herself able to be talked about. And she hasn't been in the best shape these past couple of seasons.
Well, let's just be honest about...
Since like the fucking Duel 2 or some shit.
I don't think... What is it when she had the crazy hair and I will cut you with words?
Yeah, it's been a while since she's really come in game shape. Even though that's gone up and down, but she's also knows how to entertain. And if you can have one and not the other,
you could be up there in size and still be a good competitor. There's really, like, even look at Janae. She's not technically in the greatest shape by normal standards, but she's doing really well in these challenges.
I love her arc so much because she was never a threat and she was never taken seriously during her time on the challenge. And now on All-Star, she is fucking shining and I love it.
Well, I think you're very different because she was so young when she was on these shows. She was like in her 20s. And let's just say we're not all geniuses in our 20s. And she was in her head a lot and she fell apart. And she didn't have the best partners either. So portion of that was that too.
So moving on, Naya has a talk with Nehemiah and she's talking about missing Jordan. She doesn't have faith or confidence in herself. She's only here because she's wanted to do it with Jordan. And we see a really nice moment of Nehemiah trying to comfort her and trying to help her find her motivation.
I called it.
And I really, really was struggling to not throw up in my fucking mouth during this whole thing.
Didn't I call this last week? That she was going to be in her fucking head the minute Jordan left.
I tried to buy it. I tried to leave room open for, forgiveness and maybe seeing this in a new light. She always says, her and Jordan put in the work. And now it's just like that. You get the Naya clearing Jordan's name world tour, then they're fucking, and now this whole thing of codependency, I'm not with it. I'm not jacking this shit. It's all so just, it smells funny.
Not everybody, I mean, look at what happened with Janae. Janae took a real fall after MJ left. And she was somebody that was very dependent on having somebody there. Now, mind you, she's still doing well and she got her head straight. But I knew that Naya was going to be dependent on Jordan. It just the way she was acting throughout the season, it just makes sense that she is not in her right mind space without him around. As sad as that is.
It's sad. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Let's go ahead and move on to the daily.
Come back, Hurricane Naya. Come back.
No.
You.
Did not like Hurricane Naya that much either. Really though, I hope she just figures her shit out, comes in with her own game plan, and plays for herself. I would love to see that Naya come back. I would love to see what she's able to do. This Naya?
Free Agents Naya?
Free Agents Naya, I liked. Even Rivals 3 Naya to a certain degree, I liked. But this,
I don't know. It's weird. I don't know how it happened where she used to be this and now she's down here. Like,
you know what? I don't think I would have never put her in the elite category.
No, I'm not saying elite. I'm just saying confidence level. Her confidence is shot. Was a 10 throughout most of her. I mean, mind you, like I said, her tenure is very short. But anytime I ever saw her, her confidence was always at a 10. This season, it ranged in a 5 or a 6, and that was with Jordan there. And then it's lowered down to like a 2 or a 3.
But here's the funny thing is, even with Jordan there, she wasn't performing that great.
Well, that's why I say she was at a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, we didn't see her in the Authority. I'm telling you, boot it. This storyline is already played. She's going to need something new going forward. Moving on to the daily. We get to the daily, and the first thing that happens is Veronica is medically DQ'd. She broke her foot like coming down a flight of stairs. I'm not a huge Veronica fan, but she is a 3-time champ, and she always brings a great element into the game. I do not like seeing her go like this. I thought that she had a real fighting chance just so she could get her ass tore up in the final. It wasn't great seeing her go. Also, I started to think at the systematic dismantling of the treehouse.
Well, you know, karma came back and bit right in the butt.
I mean, this whole entire alliance imploded on itself in record fucking time. It is, I mean, what does that say about your alliance? And this isn't the first time something like that happened with Kayla, where you're in this big alliance and you guys are calling all the shots and you guys just get picked off. You can't hold it.
This was mostly injuries and, you know, emergencies. I mean, this started happening early on with Jemmy, Tina, right? Tina, right?
Right.
Where they had injuries and they had to go home because of other reasons. And then obviously Veronica's a medical injury, but
Sylvia and Ronnie got their shit knocked off.
well, that's because, well, karma.
Yeah. I mean, just fucking the whole alliance has folded and Kayla is out on the island by herself with a gang of people she has already pissed off. Now, I'm so interested to see how this plays off, but in my mind, this whole entire time, I'm thinking, all right, no matter what, if like Kayla doesn't win, her or Nia is going in. Like, that's the way I'm seeing things.
I thought Kellyanne going in was almost a set deal.
I'm going to get into a minute because the whole thing about it, I was like, Kayla doesn't win. She's probably going in. And I'm like, and there's no fucking way she calls out Kellyanne. No fucking way. But there's a lot of variables right now at this point in the game because we don't know who's going to win. So we'll come back into that.
I wouldn't want to go against Nia on her worst day.
I'm not sure. The daily is going to be called Flight Pattern. There's a colored pattern, kind of like one side of a Rubik's Cube on the inside of a pond. The only way to see it is you got to fly in a fucking helicopter and look down into it. You got to jump down, go for a long swim, recreate the puzzle in its proper orientation. Sounds great. This looks like a great challenge, but these are one of the challenges that, once again, they look really, really good. They look really, really hard. They look exhausting, but it's hard to bring this to life visually. And that's one of the biggest criticisms that I've had about the challenge recently in some of the seasons. Sometimes they're able to take some of these really, really simple challenges and make them look fucking amazing. Like, you know, the helicopter and dropping the bombs and the pink dust. That was great. And for this one, it's just like, damn, is it that much of a change in the budget or something? Like, I don't know. They could have made it look more alive, but it was okay. There's not really a whole lot going on to talk about visually. I do want to talk into Nia freaking out. So in the fourth heat, Nia and Brad goes up. Nia immediately starts freaking out about not wanting to face plant or get hurt. Brad jumps out, talks to her, which I thought was really, really nice. And I also thought that really shows the kind of person Brad is. Brad's sometimes plays a really scared game, but I think on a person level, he's a pretty decent guy. And I've always liked that about him.
Well, he has no beef with Nia. He has no, like, at the end of the day, she's not going to hurt his game. So he's, in general, I mean, Brad's a nice guy. I mean, look at, I remember he was the one during the season, what was it, Inferno? When Eric almost died, Big Easy almost died, and it was Brad who's like, yo, you're gonna fucking kill him. And
I think that was maybe that was Gauntlet 3?
It was one, I don't remember exactly what. I remember he was on the badass team, I think. Versus, like, I don't remember exactly what it was. But it was pretty bad, but he was the only one that stepped up and said, y'all are gonna fucking kill this kid if you don't stop this shit. And so, I mean, in general, Brad has always been a good guy. And at the end of the day, he has nothing to lose or gain by helping Nia out.
Yeah, I thought that was real cool of him. So they get up in the helicopter and Naya freaks out again. The producers try to get her to go ahead and go through with it. She taps out, she quits, she's done. Brad goes in, he does pretty well, but everybody can kind of see that his orientation is going to be off. During the next heat, Nehemiah was going up, and because of the Veronica dropout, Nehemiah is going by himself. He said something very interesting to me. He said that he hasn't been in the authority this season
on purpose
by choice. And I was just like, that don't make no goddamn sense.
Bullshit.
Especially after the twist where you're only safe if you win. That doesn't make sense. As the kids would say, I called Cap as soon as I heard that shit. In your opinion, has Nehemiah been staying out of the authority and throwing challenges so he wouldn't have a target on his back?
I doubt it. No, I don't think so. It's not from what I've seen of Nehemiah and the way he plays, he doesn't play that kind of game. I don't even think if he tried, if that's what he was doing, it would be more obvious. Because it's just not in his nature to do that shit. But at the end of the day, no, I think it's bullshit. I think he's using it as an excuse for not being of the authority. I did it on purpose, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you didn't do it on purpose.
You know who else had a similar game plan? Brad, and he's been in the authority a shitload of times. So
he just made himself a non-target.
Yeah, I think he did intentionally play a very low-key game, but to suggest that you never made the authority at all this season solely by choice, bunch of bullshit. So, at the end of it, we find out that only 2 guys and 2 women got the puzzle done really correctly. A lot of people missed pieces, and a lot of people had the orientation wrong. Kellyanne had the orientation off, so Janae gets the win.
Which, considering how far she had to swim, because she had a longer swim, she caught her tether too soon.
Oh, is that what happened? I was wondering why she swam so much.
It looked like the tether was because she's like, I have such a long swim, but nobody else complained about that. So the only thing I can think of is that she cut herself loose too soon.
That's one of the good things about these kind of dailies. It's your speed or however you did, could be totally negated if you didn't follow the instructions correctly. For the guys, it comes down to Mark and I want to say Derek or me.
No, Mark and Derek. Yes, you are right.
Yeah, Mark and Derek, and Mark gets the W. Mark has been piling on a decent amount of W's this season too. It's great to see him doing so well. I almost forgot to mention that since Veronica got bounced, her stars was up for the winner of the daily, so Janae has 5 stars at this point. And Janae and Mark are going to make the authority. So now, of course, we have house time between the end of the daily and deliberation. My favorite part. Janae talks to Naya. Naya says she has a willingness to go in. Do you think because Naya didn't do the daily, she should be volunteering herself? I mean, at this point, you still don't want to go in unless you want to choose your own fate at this point.
I think a portion of it, she wants to choose her own fate, but another portion of it is I think she wants to quit. Because, she's been talking about it. She was talking about it. She's like, just quit. You saw her face when they were talking about who won, and she looked like she was just going to start crying. And I was like, she wants to go in so that she can go home without quitting. That's what my mindset was at that point. She's like, I don't want to fucking be here. So if I go into elimination and I lose, quote unquote, people won't give me as much shit.
Yeah, the easy way out. I want to ask you something. So Janae gets the win. The choices are going to be Kayla, Naya, and Kellyanne. Now, before we get to deliberation, what are you thinking of how the female vote should go? I'm thinking, if I'm Janae, the biggest threat is going to be Kellyanne and Kayla.
Yes.
Which also works in your favor because these two have been taking shots at each other the whole season. The problem is you got Nia, and Nia looks like she's ready to go home. Actually, at this point, it looks like whoever puts her into elimination is doing her a favor by sending her home.
Yes.
Which means she is exactly the person who you want to take it to the final. She'll lose that shit. So your Janae, your biggest threats are Kellyanne and Kayla. How do you make this vote? Because any one of them could choose which would seem like the easy way out with picking Nia. What would be the choice that you make? We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Love War Challenges. What's good?
How's it going? This is Derek Kaczynski.
So this is Paulie, and you're listening to Love War Challenges.
What up, Malik? This is Cara Maria. This is a shout out to the Love War and Challenges podcast. You're totally awesome.
Love War Challenges. For anyone listening to this, they're at LWC Podcast.
World's most dangerous podcast.
What would be the choice that you make?
I'm one of those people, though. I don't know if I'm the best one to ask because I'm a petty Betty. And if I was Kellyanne, I would go for Kayla no matter what because Kayla's been a jackass to her all season. So as me being a petty person, I would do that. And that's just in general. And when it comes to Kayla, she doesn't want to go against Nia. Nia's freaking... And the thing is Nia thrives in eliminations. And she's not a quitter in that way, so I would hope that she would put up more of a fight. And if you think about it, in this elimination, woo, Kayla would have been dragged up and down that entire ring. Because Nia would have just had to pick her up and toss her across like a bag of chips.
So... You know, the way I'm thinking is you don't want to put in Nia. You know, you got this, you know, Janae and Kayla haven't really been sniping at each other too much. But I would say put in Kellyanne as a favorite to Kellyanne so she could pick Kayla. I think that would be the right move because you don't necessarily have to take a shot at Kayla to do this. Even though Kayla already knows she deserves all of the shots. I mean, the main thing is you want to make sure it's Kayla and Kellyanne. The reason why I would vote for Kellyanne instead of Kayla is Kayla might switch up at the last minute. She may not want Kellyanne. And to me, in my head, the whole time I'm saying, yo, if Kayla gets voted in and she don't pick Kellyanne, yo, that's wild pussy. And I'm like, there's no way she's going to do that. No way she's going to do that. Wild pussy. And that's what I thought. We'll come back to that. Now, for the gentlemen, Wes is trying to vie for as much control as he can, and Nehemiah is just kind of taking it as like, hey, you know, it is what it is. If it's my day, it's my day. You know, whatever. His gameplay is to not have a game plan, which I thought was a pretty huge mistake. But we already know Mark is in there. He's going to look out for Derek's interests. And Wes is going around saying like, hey, we're almost at the end. They're saying these stars hold weight. Time to go after the people with the stars. And Wes wants Derek, which makes a lot of sense. Now, during this, Wes says he has to go have a business meeting. And he fucking calls bananas.
Who knew?
Now, listen,
How far they've come.
As soon as he went into the room, I was just like, yeah, he's going to call bananas.
Well, did you see the name of the episode? Going Bananas?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
I saw it.
Oh.
It's something like Going Bananas, and I was like, Johnny Bananas is going to appear somewhere in this episode.
Yeah, that would have been a huge giveaway. But it was funny. I thought it was a nice break to all the seriousness in the house, but it was totally unnecessary. We didn't need Johnny Bananas to pop his head up on All Stars 3, but I think this is Wes being a master showman.
Yes.
And you know, making sure he gets a little bit more TV time. I think he already knows that he didn't need Bananas to make that decision. he already knows. So I thought it was cute, but unnecessary.
You know, Bananas was ready with it, wearing his fucking thong underwear. The fuck are you doing?
Absolutely, absolutely. But before we get to the deliberation, Janae is still making a tour, seeing, you know, who wants to go in, yada, yada, yada. And Janae and Kayla, you know, they start having a talk, and they kind of dump on Kellyanne a little bit.
I don't know where the fuck that came from.
Right? And this is some of that two-faced shit that Janae has been accused of in the past. Because her and Kellyanne, I thought, were kind of on solid ground, and you and Kayla have been taking lightweight shots out of each other. And now if
Kayla got Janae sent in.
Right. So now if you're using this to like size up your opponent to see where you want to take your shot, okay, I can get that if that's gameplay. But if not, I don't know. Do you think this conversation affected your opinion of Janae at all?
To be honest, I never had a huge high opinion of Janae, period. I was never a big fan of her during her regular seasons. And she really came back. Like, I gave her props where props were due, but overall as a personality, she's just got the stank face going all the time. She's really up on her high horse. And I don't deal well with that.
Oh, that's anybody coming off a winning season.
I've seen plenty of people come back on after a winning season and not act like their shit doesn't stink.
You know, Yes was coming off of a winning season. Did Yes seem a little bit on his high horse?
Well, Wes. Yes has always been on his moral high horse. So let's just be honest. He did his first season acting on his moral high horse. It's the same thing with Kendall. That I see Yes and Kendall kind of having their similar, like, with the way they act, where they feel like they're a little bit better than everybody else.
Oh, you think Kendall thinks that she's better than everybody else?
I think that Kendall thinks she's morally better than a lot of people, and I think that Yes thinks the same. He thinks he has better morals than a lot of people on the show. Now, whether or not that's true, that is just how it's perceived.
That's a question I have for you. Is it true? Does Yes and Kendall, are they morally superior to the other people in the challenge house?
No.
Okay. Just asking your opinion.
They're on the same shit show as everybody else. And they do the same shitty shit as everybody else does.
Same shitty shit.
So,
love that.
Yes,
let's go ahead and move on to deliberations. So, of course, Mark, his main thing is protecting Brad and Nehemiah. But there seemed to be some division on Derek and Wes. I think Janae really wants to make sure that Wes goes in. And Mark just wants to give Derek a chance to pick his own poison.
Why does everybody have something up their butts about Wes? Wes hasn't even been bad this season.
No, but he tries to take control of everything. And he's really successful at it. And a lot of times, if you're not in his plans, then it's not going to be well for you. That's what a lot of people have a problem with, is that they can't curry enough as much favors or influence as Wes is able to do pretty easily and routinely.
Yeah.
For some reason, even people who don't like Wes ends up helping him out in some way.
True.
So, and the thing about it is, this works in Wes's favor so much, because either you give him what he wants and he can go in and pick and get all of these stars, or he's safe right before the final. It's win-win. And
he does know how to make it work.
Exactly. So I'm pretty sure he doesn't care which way it goes. And they come out and they tell him that, you know, hey, it's going to be Kayla going in, it's going to be Derek going in. And Wes is just like, I see I didn't get what I want. Like, he's just so fucking disappointed. I'm just like, yeah, but since you're not in, and most likely you're going to a final. So, like, and worst case scenario, your friend Nehemiah, who is not going to be the strongest person out of the males left, is going to have all of the stars. So all of his advantages may end up amounting for nothing. I think everything is coming up Wes. So much stuff has gone his way this season.
I think Wes has the strongest, out of the people left, he has the strongest possibility of winning. He has the best track record of everybody. He's been in recent finals, so he's more prepared mentally and physically for this shit.
You know what? I'm not so sure. And granted, he has played a magnificent, almost flawless game so far. But he's going in there against Brad and Mark, and both of those guys are ready.
Brad and Mark don't have good track records in a fucking final. In my opinion.
They've been there before.
A long time ago.
They had one before. Wes hasn't been in one since World of the War. War of the Worlds.
He wasn't in Total Madness, was he?
No.
Didn't make it a Total Madness. Okay, because that was his original
so it's been a while for him too. Maybe a little bit longer for some of the other people, but I think you should give them a little bit more credit that the competition is going to be a little bit more stiff. So
I think the last final Brad was in Cutthroat. I don't even think he's had a final since then.
I'm not sure how true that is. I'm going to have to look that up.
That's the last one I remember him in.
So, moving on, we get down there. It looks like it's going to be pole wrestle, which is immediately lights everybody's eyes up. One, because it looks like we're going to get something really physical, and that's something that has been really, really lacking during this season. We've seen a lot of puzzles. We've seen a lot of endurance. Yeah. We haven't seen a lot of physicality, especially in the eliminations.
Where's my hall brawl?
Derek is going in. And right now, he's on the opposite side of Wes, and we both know why pole wrestle is what it is. Because these guys, they played it back in the day. That was the first duel, right?
I want to say yes, it was the first duel.
Yes, the first duel. And I remember back then, like, you had to, like, stay on your knees, like, you couldn't get up. And those guys battled it out. And Wes got the better of him, and nobody was expecting that. So... at this point, I'm just like, all right, Derek's going in. He's going to have to call out Wes.
And Derek has been known now a lot for pole wrestle, especially after the elimination, and they showed it with Joss.
Yes. He has been, and he has a handful of legendary pole wrestles, and the Brawl at the Beach thing during the Gauntlet series. So he is a pole wrestle a king. So in my head, I'm thinking, this is how it's going to have to go down.
I was like, he's going to, a part of me was like, Derek's going to want revenge and he's going to want to prove that he's the best. So he's going to call out Wes. But another part of me was, Derek doesn't want that smoke. He doesn't want to lose to Wes again, because imagine if he loses, that would be horrific for him. So I'm like, he might just puss out and go after Nehemiah.
Now see, this is where I was wrong on everything. I'm just like, all right, Derek's there. Of course he's gonna call out Wes. Say what you want about Derek, and I like Derek a lot. I think he's a great competitor. He never plays a scared game. He's never had a problem going against people bigger than him and making them pay for it. But also, he can be kind of a attention whore. I'm like, there's no way he passes up an opportunity to not only take out somebody who's his rival, but a chance to make another legendary elimination. I mean, this pole wrestle is his legacy. When it's all said and done, and being a 3-time champ, can't knock it. But being the pole wrestle guy, the pit bull of pole wrestle, that's who he is. No way he passes this up. And for Kayla, she's going in, and I'm just like, you know what? She's going to take what's going to look like the easiest option out, and she's going to take Naya, who looks like she's ready to go home.
No way.
Yes, that's what I thought.
You did not think she was going to pick Naya.
I thought she was going to pick Naya. Because Naya, come on, she's been looking like she's ready to go home for like 2 episodes now.
Do you think she would let Kayla dog walk her through this thing? Hell no. She would. that would be embarrassing as shit if Nia lost to Kayla.
I don't think her head's in the game.
I don't give a fuck. Look at her.
So, I was thoroughly surprised. Derek decides he is going to go for the easiest route. And he picks out Nehemiah. And I was fucking shocked. When does Derek ever picks the easier route? Granted, him and Nehemiah have this funny little feud thing going where they act like they don't really like each other. And they really are kind of okay.
Lame. That's a lame-ass feud.
But even more so, I thought it was really disrespectful towards Nehemiah. Nehemiah's a challenge champ. And just like, yeah, I'm going to take him out easily. And the fucked up thing is, he probably will. But very shockingly, Wes is offended. He gets fired the fuck up. He's like, he's not going to have a family to fucking go back to.
Did you see he put an apology out there?
Did he put an apology out there?
On
what
Twitter.
Did he say?
Hold on. I saw it.
He was fired up, like maybe a little bit too much though.
It was excessive.
I think just the fact that Nehemiah was picked over him, I think he was super pissed, and I think he was ready. I think he was just super ready to go in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I remember I saw it where he said something about bringing up his family and stuff was just fucked up.
Oh yeah, because he said like, yeah, he's not gonna have a family to go back to.
I would like to apologize to Derek MTV retelling Nehemiah to fuck him up. I thought I was going in and adrenaline was pumping, but I believe in that particular series, shit talking crossed the line. I'm sorry to him and his family. Public mistakes require public apologies.
Holy shit. You know what? Let Wes be an example of how to fucking apologize well. You can't say it any better than that. And I'm sure Derek gets it, because Derek is a huge shit talker too. I would never want to lose to that guy in fucking tic-tac-toe. He'll rub it in so bad. I thought that was
whoever this Mike Scott is sorry. There's a comment from this guy who was like, no excuses, Latarian. Wes scared the bejesus out of me tonight.
What? Okay.
The only way he wanted Derek to leave that elimination was in a body bag. Wow, that's really... Wow, this is Twitter.
Yo, but that's facts. He was... and I think Wes said it perfectly. I was expected to go in. My adrenaline was on. He was probably ready to go in and just super disappointed. Yeah, that kind of trash talk isn't really necessary, especially for what's on the line. He could have toned it down, but I thought the apology was pretty well, and I'm sure he apologized to him in person before he posted this. So,
I mean, it did cross the line with you're not going to have a family to go back to, but...
I thought it was a bit much. People have said so much worse.
I saw it, and I was like, oof. But somebody pointed out something also, because he told, what was it, Jenna, to put her foot in Devon's face during their pole wrestle elimination. So
it's actually kind of okay, because it's been done before.
I mean, you got to play what you got to play. So if you're going to win, you're going to win. What is it? If you're not, what is it? What did the Hulk Hogan say? If you're not cheating, you're not trying. But,
so I get it. And I do like the apology. I thought the apology was sincere and well said. And he explained his actions and owned up to it. That's a perfect apology. So give him props for that.
He tried.
But I think Nehemiah is going to give Derek more of a fight than he hopes for. But let's be serious. I don't think Nehemiah is going to walk away from this one. I think his number is going to get called.
I think if he loses, it's going to be close. I think he is pissed. I think he is hyped. I think he's got a good chance of either winning or making it so close that Derek is now injured in a final.
Oh, man. I hope no one gets injured. I would be thoroughly surprised if Nehemiah is able to pull this off. So good luck for them. Let's go ahead and move on to the ladies. We got Kayla calls out Kellyanne.
I'm not surprised.
I was super surprised. And you know what? I was just like, good for you. You made her life a living hell all season, and now you guys are going to have to go in there and let it bang. I was actually a little impressed, and I think that's the way it should be.
Kayla went against Kellyanne because Kellyanne is the same size as her, height-wise, I think Kellyanne's slightly taller than her, and they have the similar builds. The thing is
Kellyanne no slouch.
I was gonna say Nia has at least 4 inches on her and more muscle. That girl can body her.
But Nia wants to go home.
But
she's already quit.
I don't see Nia. The thing is, I don't see Nia allowing anybody to embarrass her that badly. And at the end of the day, if she lost to Kayla in a pole wrestle, she would be embarrassed. And I think that she wouldn't allow that to happen.
I don't know. I think her head's not into it. And if I was Kayla, that's what I would have gone for. Like, Nia doesn't even want to be here. Let me do her a favor and send her home.
I think you underestimate Nia's will at the end of the day in an elimination. I don't think that she has the ability to quit. I think a lot of people want to say it, but
okay, I'll win. Okay, so
not against Kayla. So I don't know. Maybe it's just because I don't like Kayla.
I know how this shakes out, but I don't know everything. Do you think Nia finishes the final?
If she makes it to the final, she'll finish it. She'll finish it last, but she'll finish it.
The final is going to start next week. I think.
According to the preview, yes, finals next week.
So, I didn't even see the preview. I'm bugging. Yeah. So I don't think that Nia even finishes, depending on how tough it is.
I can see Nia finishing, but I see her finishing last.
Yeah, I would say so too. This is very good for Janae because Nia is going to come behind whoever wins this elimination. And it's really going to be between you and one other person. And then after this, we get hit with the bullshit. Cliffhanger. Fucking cliffhanger. We don't get an elimination today.
It seemed like such a short episode. I was like, why is this episode so short?
God. But you know what? I kind of get it. Because it probably has something to do with the ending of next week's. So hopefully they have a good plan behind that. But that's going to be it for the episode. I thought this episode was fan-fucking-tastic.
That was all right.
I thought all the deal making and willing and dealing was great. I thought the only weak spot for the episode was the daily, which I thought was a good daily, just not visually appealing. I don't know how you would actually fix that for this one, but
I thought I actually kind of liked the way the daily was because it wasn't too drawn out.
Right. And yeah, and that's a plus. They didn't make it go on longer than it had to. I just thought visually it could use a little bit more. I know we all talked about how we hated all of the non-essential fucking explosions we got, during the Spy series. So, overall though, scale of 1 to, how are we ranking it? Are we doing 1 to 5 or 1 to 10?
Let's do 1 to 5.
1 to 5. How do you rank this episode?
Give it a solid 4.
I had.
Yeah, it's
solid 4.
It had good places. It did disappoint me in others, but it really it went topsy-turvy. I guessed exactly what was going to happen, unlike you. I knew what was going to happen the minute they did it. And I have not seen the spoilers, by the way. I have not. It's
nice to get surprised every once in a while. I only know who the female winner is. I don't know who the male winner is, and I don't know their places.
Somebody told me the male winner, and somebody told me the female winner, but I don't know how it works out or why.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to shake out. I could probably guess the male winner at this point. Which I'm not going to say here because apparently I've ruined people's seasons before, and God, the fucking bitch fit they threw because of it.
You were public enemy number 1 for a good period of time.
It wasn't even on purpose. And
it was a different podcast, right? They called you out on it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and they like bitch on their podcast too.
It's on Twitter.
Some guy yeah, exactly. See, I assumed if you're on Challenge Twitter, then you have already been spoiled. If I'm going to be on Challenge Twitter, I have already accepted the fact that shit is going to get spoiled for me and I just no longer bitch and moan about it. I mean, of course you could take steps, but you know, it is what it is.
Just stay off of Twitter until the season's over if that's what you want.
100%. I do try to be a little bit more careful. Before we get out of here, I want to say a big shout out to the Challenge Unbothered Facebook group. That is our home group. We love it there. We're always there. I don't always interact as much as possible, but I always watch and view the shit over there. So anytime you want to catch us, you can definitely catch us over there. Big shout out to Chico. Just want to say what's up. Let's see, anything else? Anything you want to touch on before we go ahead and get out of here?
Nope, not unless anybody wants to help me rename my cat.
You know what? I always like Persephone.
Well, it's an orange cat whose name is Coffee, and it just is not a cute name. The other cat's name is Casper, which I'm going to keep, but I think Persephone is almost too much. I already have a Phoebe, so too many P's going on.
I think you should find one of the Greek deities and, you know, pick somebody from Greek mythology. My
sister recommended macchiato. Well, first she said latte, and then she said macchiato, which actually sounds really super cute.
I like latte. Macchiato might be too much of a mouthful.
And then there's also Kovu, like from Lion King 2.
Lion King?
Yeah.
How the fuck is there a second Lion King?
Of course there's a second Lion King. There's also a Lion King 1.5. But anyway. How do you not know this? You have kids.
The Lion King just by itself was you know what? I'm not getting into this right now. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter at LWC Podcast. And follow us on Facebook and TikTok at Love War Challenges. Cop all of your official Love War Challenges gear at shop.lwcpodcast.com. And make sure you visit our website at lwcpodcast.com. Get your customizable challenge gear and accessories at shopthechallenge.com. Make sure you listen to Love War Challenges on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app. That's going to do it for us. Once again, I am MTV Malik. She is Giftmaster Bex. This is Love War Challenge.
Bye.